Every name you drop got roots in the grind. History speaks loud, just listen to the line. We struggle to shine, we honor the climb. Where losses hit deep, but sharp in the mind. Real don't flex, they just move with weight. Welcome to the legacy, room A108, go to the legacy. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to room A108. I'm your host, David. Joining me as always, my co-host, CJ. He came dressed to impress today. Got a lot to brag about today, huh?
Yes, sir. You know
today's episode, we're going to do a season recap of our Chicago Bears, preview of the upcoming week, first round of playoffs against that team up north. I don't like that, man, because
usually
we're called the team up north in a negative way,
yeah.
but I get it.
Forget both of them.
Oh, man. I was about to give you props, too, so that might change
You still
today.
gonna have to.
We're just going to discuss the general NFL playoffs, first round, our picks, see what differs and what's the same. And then we'll cap it off clearly with a CFP recap. So we're going to start off with just the Bears season recap. How do you feel about this season? What's your general response? Like, okay, the Bears did this for me this year.
Pretty much everything that I think both of us would have asked of them. You know, great success from where I stand. You wanted to make sure that you had the quarterback of the future, and you wanted to make sure that you had the coach of the future. And I think both of those are resounding yeses, you know, from me, I'm sure from you. So yeah, super successful season. There's a lot on the line come Saturday that could, you know, leave a sour taste in your mouth if it don't go right. But, you know, regardless of the outcome on Saturday, I think it's an overly successful season.
Yeah, it's definitely shocked. Only because we spent so much time in the cautious optimism, but borderline pessimism. Because, I mean, it's just the trauma from being a Bears fan and just being the bottom of the barrel of the North for so long. I didn't expect us to go from where we were to where we are in one season. Actually, I didn't expect us. If you go back and watch our second episode of the season when we started off 0-2, you know, before that, we started this the new season off with our predictions, and both of us were questioning that right away. I mean, week 2, we lose 50 to whatever we put up.
52-21 or something like that.
It was bad,
Mm-hmm.
And we were both like, man, we got to reevaluate. Maybe we were putting too much pressure on them, and then they buckled down and really turned the season around. Finished 11-4 after that point.
Such a roller coaster ride for, you know, like the narratives, just from, you know, the start of the season to the middle and then the end. We went from wondering was the Detroit Magic really Ben, or was it Dan Campbell? And then the same thing was being said by the middle of the year up there in Detroit. They like, oh man, it was all Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. You know, so just a whirlwind of, you know, narratives and the way that they flipped. And but, you know, like I said, everything that I think we could have asked for, you know, I think they delivered on it, man, for sure.
Biggest surprise of this year, other than the success?
Honestly, I wouldn't say biggest, but one of the bigger, and I think we touched on it like 2 or 3 episodes ago when we were talking about all of the fans who were clamoring about Ashton Genty. But DeAndre Swift, bro, like, there's a lot of fans out there who owe him an apology. You know, he came out, balled out. Everybody tried to point towards, you know, Detroit traded him away, and people were saying that, you know, he wouldn't work well with Ben. Ben don't like him. That's why they traded him away in Detroit, blah, blah, blah. Dude has been one of, if you take if you can't answer Caleb Williams and you ask me who's the offensive MVP, I think a lot of people would point to some of those guys up front on the O-line, but the swing of the season, the trajectory of the season totally changed once the run game got going. And Monungai has something to say about that too, but I felt like it started with Swift for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of it is the slow start we had. It was the same thing last year, and he ended up coming on late last year. And I don't know. I agree with you as far as the offensive line. I would say that's the biggest shock for me. But I do agree, Swift. I would say keep him as long as we can. Monungai, keep him. Two-headed monster, keep that rolling. But the biggest surprise to me, I know we spent a lot of money in the offseason to address our offensive line, but the dramatic turnaround that we had in one season, because being an offensive lineman, it's not even just about putting good offensive linemen on the line. You got to have chemistry. Pass blocking it's like a dance. If you're not complimenting the person next to you, it doesn't matter how good you are. I think Tooney had a lot to do with that. The fact that he is a top tier offensive lineman himself, but I feel like he brought that mentality of cohesiveness to the offensive line. We definitely have our flaws, for sure, but I'm not going to complain because, I mean, Caleb, how many, almost 60 times he was sacked last year? That's cut in half this year. I think he finished with 30 something.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe, I think 37 at the most, 38. Fact check me on that, but it's right around there. I know it was cut in half. So, and Ben knew what he was getting in Caleb Williams. He knows he needs more time. He has a slow release. It takes him a little longer to analyze the field, but to his strength, he likes stretching the play. So he got an offensive line that would benefit him in that way. So
Swift was up there for me for sure, 1,000-yard season, but I think how well the new faces on the offensive line gelled and how quickly they gelled probably be up there as far as the most surprising.
Yeah.
Because people were, Joe Tooney's storied career, but a lot of people were, kind of questioning you got him for a 4th-round pick and you got him from Kansas City. And it was like, all right, if Kansas City letting him go for a 4th, what do they know that we don't know? That was, kind of like the side eye about that deal. But, a lot of it was just they wanted to pay Trey Smith. They wanted to pay the younger guard. So they had to move some money out. Your misfortune is our benefit,
Yep.
So, but then even with Dahlman, that was a big contract you gave to a center. Jonah Jackson, a lot of injury issues, a lot of question marks about his health. So it was, a lot of, and that's not even bringing up, who was going to play left tackle. So there was a lot, a lot of question marks as far as the offensive line goes. And, I don't think anybody could say that they've been a disappointment whatsoever. Some, changes back and forth, between the 3 guys that lined up at left tackle. But, every time one went out and one came in, it was almost a seamless kind of just transition. Yeah, a few bumps, but, we'll take it if, the result is what we've gotten.
Last year, whenever someone was hurt, we felt it because you felt it. I mean, we were very rarely at full strength anyways. And even at full strength, it was subpar at best. This year, when people, how many different people did we have play left tackle this year? At least 3 or 4, right? So
yeah, started with Braxton Jones, and then he went out. Then it went to Theo Benedict, and then he went out, and then it went
Tripolo.
Back and forth between Tripolo and Bennett. I don't think Amagaji ever got in there off the top of my head. So yeah, just those 3 right there.
And once Braxton went out, because you felt it when Braxton was in there, he was not playing up to par, and he was definitely the weakest link. Quoting T.I., they snatched him up expeditiously, and it was like, yeah, you're not going back. And he didn't even get a chance to go back, and we didn't see him again after that.
Mm-mm.
That was it.
Got hurt, sent to IR eventually, and then it was a wrap.
Yeah, that was probably ego. Just like, hey, we're not putting you back in, so just go ahead and stay out. So yeah, that was the biggest shocker for me. But of course, I don't want to touch on it for too long because I don't want to have a downer. But the end of the season didn't necessarily go like we planned. It's not. I don't think we played terrible the last couple games. I think we played solid ball, but there are definitely some things that you saw some flaws and some things we needed to clean up. Hopefully, we get those things corrected going into the playoffs against Green Bay.
Yeah, and before we get into that game and the playoffs as a whole, it's two things I want to mention, want to run by you that I'd like to see changed for next year, or things that alterations. Caleb got to get some touch on the run, man.
What do you mean?
His touch passes on the run when he's scrambling, like dude throws 115 mile an hour BBs at people from 8 feet away, from 8 yards away. It's like if he can just get to a point where he learns how to dial that back a little bit, put a little bit more touch on them throws on the run. That's one thing that I'd hope that he works on this offseason, because every time you see him scrambling, you like he about to run, throw it away, or throw it 110 miles an hour at somebody's face mask, and they gonna drop it. So, but the second is, I think it's time going into next year. I know that George said that when Virginia passed, that they wanted to use this year, and just kind of honor her by wearing just the standard Bears jerseys that they've always worn, just the regular home, regular away. But they got this is the year going into next year where they got to lean into this Iceman thing, bro. And it's time for the all white,
my favorite Bears uniform,
and take it a step further. They need the white alternate helmet at this point. You got to lean into it, man.
Those are always, whenever you see, even if they didn't. I mean, I agree. I would love the white helmets. That would be awesome. But when I see the white on white, I think Walter Payton days. I think just the heyday back in the 80s, early 90s.
Smash mouth, blood on the pants. All
See well, I mean, you don't see as much anymore because it's artificial. But I mean, you saw the dirt on there, everything. It was just, and even when we played in high school, we had different variations, but we had the white on white aways. Man, I just loved it.
Yeah, and one of the things that Kevin Warren has done since he's gotten here, he's gonna take some flack for this, how this kind of stadium thing is stalled. But one of the things that he has done that I give him credit for is trying to take the Bears into like the 21st century, into the new age. He's the one that made the change and made what used to be the Bears' alternate logo is now their main logo, the actual bear head instead of the C. So that's what gives me confidence that maybe he'll see the vision and grasp a hold of this Iceman thing and give us what we want with the all whites. Need to see it, bro. Need to see it.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened since the Urlacher and Lance Briggs days.
Man, the last vision I have of the all whites was probably the game when Hester took back 2 kicks against St. Louis. I think they had the all whites on.
Yep. But since Lovey's been gone, I haven't us wear any white on white unis.
No, yeah, they need them back, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would say a couple things that I would like to see different next year. First, I don't know. I mean, I'm nowhere near NFL mind at all, so I don't know what's going on in that room, what's going on the sideline with the play calling. But quarters 1 through 3, there's something not clicking with our offense. I mean, we have our moments. I get it. We can't put up 40 points every game. I understand that, but there's a significant difference of our team starting the game at least before halftime and after, especially fourth quarter. And we just need to address that. And I would like that fixed. I would like us to not have to battle back all the time. Play from in the lead. Being able to protect the ball. I mean, we'd be perfect with that. The way we run the ball, it's unreal. That's why you and I were texting the Detroit game, and when we kicked the punt of the ball with, like a minute left, I was like, we're not going to win this game. Our defense isn't going to stop them at all. They can run the ball down our throats. We didn't get the benefit of that. How many times did we have the lead and keep the lead throughout the game this year? The Cowboys.
Man, it's few and far between for sure.
That might be the only one that we really kept the lead, had the lead, and kept it the whole game. I mean,
Cowboys, I think maybe the Saints, but I feel like the Saints might have been up for a little minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
And I would say the other one, it's a drastic one, but I think we need to let go of Allen. I think we need to let go of Dennis Allen. We don't have a lack of personnel. We have a lack of personnel up front, which means a lot. And I agree with you. We've had this conversation a lot. But as a defensive coach, you know, there's some things that you have to scheme for. Just like we put that pressure on Ben for offense, we have to do that with him on defense. And, you know, I get it, man. It's an offense-heavy league these days. But, I mean, we can't stop. It's either take the ball away or they score. That's what it's always been all season. Our defense hasn't been able to stop anybody. The worst teams in the NFL have just dominated us. So either let go of Dennis Allen, promote Al Harris. The reason why I say that is because Al Harris is going to be greatly sought after this offseason. I would rather keep Al Harris than keep Dennis Allen. It's the only reason why I say that.
I'm not all the way there, you know, in terms of Dennis Allen. You know, he's schemed up a lot of good stuff. And I think the deficiencies on the defense is more of a Poles issue than a Dennis Allen issue. Like, there's been plenty of times where ball is snapped, you see, you know, the play in front of you, and the pressure is there, and it's just guys not finishing the play. Like, how many times against San Francisco did you see, you know, a well called and a well timed blitz, and, you know, guys just there and can't get their fingers fully on him and get him to the ground, you know? And it's just like, man, they made Brock Purdy look like, you know, Mike Vick on Madden 04, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, so I think I wouldn't say I'm happy with him, but I would rather give him another shot going into next year, as long as Poles is doing everything in his power to bring, you know, either a Crosby or a Myles Garrett here. Like, that's what has to be done in order for me to really feel like, all right, Dennis Allen ain't it.
The only reason why I disagree is because, so I like to compare defense to offense. So our offensive line, any position, you can tell that they're being coached. Caleb Williams was coached this year. That's why he got better. Offensive line, they were coached this year. That's why they got better. Our receivers, you know they're going to be coached. I mean, Randall is the receivers coach. So these players are coached for success. And I don't get that same feeling on defense. Over pursuit, penalties, missed tackles, that's all. I mean, just, it's all, to me, what I think is lack of coaching. To me, yeah, you can scheme. You can be a genius. Like Waldron. We all can't stand Waldron. But I'm sure X's and O's on a sheet of paper, I'm sure he draws up great plays. I'm sure he has amazing plays, you know, but at the end of the day, you still have to coach. And I think that's maybe where Dennis Allen isn't really getting through, because it's just a lot of mental things that our defense, like like I said, the biggest thing is the lapse of coverage, especially from our linebackers against the pass. Edmonds is a liability, man, big time in the pass. Our defensive line, we all know it's our Achilles heel, and we're not getting any pressure, and we barely blitz. You know, Jalen Johnson, he's been getting beat a lot this season. For him to get that contract and be considered one of the best DBs in the NFL, he hasn't played like the best DB on the team.
Hey, man, for anybody that's out there pounding the table about bringing back and extending Nashawn Wright, if that's what you do, you better be exploring ways to move off of Jalen Johnson. So those two, they cannot play on the field at the same time. They're too interception dependent.
Yes, I was going to say
Tyreek is sitting on the sideline, doesn't sniff the field for the whole game last week. And you got two guys out there that don't want to tackle, that don't play physically, and the only impact that they make on the game is PBUs and interceptions.
What I text you, man, didn't I say, I was like, if if you're going to keep Nahshon in, you got to start Stevenson. Like, and I get, when contracts factor in at this point, but I mean, all right, I get it. Nahshon is having a great season. He overachieved, but he's not that lockdown corner that you're looking for. He gets beat quite often too.
Yeah, and Tyreek has his moments where he gets beat. He gets beat deep too.
But he's helpful in the run.
Yeah, but you're gonna see him up there. He's gonna put his head down. He's gonna tackle. And you're not getting that from either one of those other two guys. So, hey, if you want to pound the table about keeping right, then maybe Jalen Johnson is a guy that you need to, try to conjure up, putting him in a package to upgrade your D line, because I don't like what I see, and it could just be that he ain't entirely healthy, and even if that's the case, then why isn't he on some sort of pitch count? You let that man on an island, unhealthy. If he's not 100%, then you left an injured, unhealthy guy that was a liability. You left him on an island all day long with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he got beat like a drum across the middle.
Jameson Williams, man, he was killing him on the cross.
Jameson Williams, yeah, both of them, they just took turns abusing, Wright and Johnson. So,
doing oh man, that pissed me off.
Oh man, you and Joe, man, my brother was going through it, bro. He was going. I can't even show you or say the things that he was telling me in text. We'll get this episode booted off YouTube.
So I text you about it. Like, if for everybody who doesn't know, all right, if anybody watching this podcast doesn't know, Bears kind of took they took the basketball clear out, this mind ISO every time they do a first down. The Lions were doing it every time they got a first down against us, and there was no there was no pushback. It was almost like, yeah, we can't do nothing about it. Like there's no in your face, like, hey man.
The only person who did was in the fourth quarter when they were trying to mount their comeback. Luther caught a ball for a first down, and he did it, and he turned and he stared at the Lions sideline for like 3 to 5 seconds. So I pointed at TV. I was like, well, there you go. At least somebody is
Lou was gonna do that. I mean, if you're gonna choke a guy with a helmet on in the middle of that, he's likely to do whatever.
That's my dog, man. I can't wait till my Luther Burden jersey arrives at the crib.
But we said we weren't going to spend too much time talking about Detroit. We're in the realm of negativity again, and get away from that bad negativity. So
how we feeling about Saturday, man?
Man, so I told you this, and this is just me being honest. I'm going to take a step out of my Bears fandom for a second, but it's a rivalry game, so you never know what's going to happen in a rivalry game. I'm not saying that I'm scared. What I'm saying is I will be pissed off if they send us home, because you got to sit on that for the whole year. And it's not just the end of the season. Like last year, we got the victory against them to end the season, but they went on to the playoffs, so it didn't matter. I mean, it mattered, but it didn't matter like it is this week. Mm-hmm. Primetime, Saturday night game. To me, I think it's probably the closest matchup of the first round, I think, just because it's a rivalry game. So, but it's going to feel that much better if we win. So that's the only thing. It's just a mixture of emotions. I'm like, man, I know I'm going to feel it. So if I feel it, I know they're going to feel it. So it's a tense game. I think it's going to be an emotional game, but I think we got it.
It's going to make or break my shift at work on Sunday morning, bro. It's my last shift of the week, Sunday morning. I can't call off because it's Sunday premium pay, and I'd be a dummy to miss out on the ducats. So I'll be in there bright and early, either with a little extra pep in my step or, nobody talk to me. It's going to go one or two ways on Sunday morning for me, man.
You like that GIF I sent you about Bernie Mac or Ohio State?
Yeah, man.
Start slapping everybody, and that's what's up to you.
Man. But yeah, like you said, man, rivalry game. Throw what happened in the first two games out the window at this point. I know that's kind of the cliche thing to say when you talk about rivalries, but it is what it is, man. That's not even that's not the same team you played the first game, but somehow you looked worse in the second game.
Still won.
But still won. Like the game that you won, you looked worse in than the game that you lost, which is very weird. But yeah, confident they're going to put forth a good effort. That's the thing that I will say. I think they'll come prepared. I think they'll play hard. I think it'll be a close game, and I'm just hoping that at the end of it, we on the right side of it.
So, again, by no means am I call myself an expert, but I mean, I think anybody with general football knowledge would agree with me that we have to make Jordan Love beat us. The reason why the games were so close the last couple times we played them is because they've been able to establish the run, and they would just catch our defense consistently off guard. If I were Dennis Allen, I mean, I know it's much more complex than that. It sounds easy talking behind one of these microphones at home with no pressure, but stack the box, make him, Jordan Love, beat you through the air. If they establish the run, it's just going to be an uphill battle, and it's just going to be the same problem we're going to have to go through all season long. If we make Jordan Love beat us and he just balls out, I'm cool. I mean, I'm not cool with that, but fine. But I don't see them as a team dominating like that, having to air it out because they can't establish the run. Make an impact early. Be comfortable, and this is Caleb's time to shine, man. He's talked about how, he got a lot of flack for it, but he was talked about how, everyone was against him. No one thought they thought he was going to be a bust or whatever. So this is his time to prove everybody wrong, right? Everybody that wants to talk about him painting his fingernails, crying in his mom's arm after a loss, him being soft, with anything negative that you have to say about Caleb, this is his chance to prove the naysayers, and he's got to do it. To me personally, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, because he's stepped up to the plate all season, especially in the clutch, which I love most about him. I love the fact he has his many flaws. He is not without flaw at all by any means. But being able to come through in the clutch is just such a rare trait that a lot of athletes, not even football players, athletes don't have. So it's comforting to know he has that. So that's how I feel about the game.
Much like, I kind of said about Purdy, Love is going to put it up there. He's going to give you some opportunities for some takeaways.
And he does them bad too. He either does it like in the red zone or in the game on the line.
The only thing where you end up getting hurt is he will burn you if you undisciplined on the back end and he catch you with your eyes in the wrong spot. A la that, long touchdown at the end of the first half in the first game. And it's just like little stuff like that you can't do. If you stay disciplined and you're in the spot that you're supposed to be in, and you get a little bit of pressure, make him move around, you'll find some success. But, if you overcommit and, he catch you, turn the wrong way or something, I mean, we've seen, whether it's Bo Melton, who the Packers didn't even have faith in as a receiver anymore. They try to turn him into a DB and then turn him back into a receiver. That tells you how much they think about him. And he's the one burning you for a long touchdown at the end of the half. Christian Watson, don't get me started on him. He's always seems to be, thorn in their side. And, Reed and Dobbs. And, they got a bunch of dudes that, aren't household names. But, if you give them the chance, they're going to take it. So, but I think we got dubs.
Oh, dub.
Both predicting dubs.
Yeah, dub. Even if I didn't feel that way, I'm dubbing it for sure.
Big dubs. We'll be back next week with talking about big dubs.
Positive vibes, talking all types of trash on Facebook, rubbing it in.
We taking another mini vacay if it don't go well?
I don't know if we'll have that luxury, unfortunately, man. I wish it's too much going on.
We'll be here, man. We'll be here. Before that, though, the Saturday afternoon game, Rams-Panthers. We both in lockstep with the Rams in that one.
Yeah, I think that's the
no surprise upset. From Carolina.
I think that's the most definitive. If I were to do a confidence pool, that would be the game I would pick for sure.
What about early game Sunday morning? I guess noon. You can call it morning. Bills Jags. I think we differ on this one.
Yeah, I got the Bills.
Man, give me Duval, baby.
Duval.
Duval.
So
yeah, give me the fighting Liam Cohens.
I could I could be really wrong, but I went against, which is contradictory to being a Bears fan, but I went against the up and coming teams this year, the new heavy hitters this season. I was not a favorite. So at the job we did a pool where you pick the entirety of the playoff, and I didn't really have any of the new young teams, new playoff comers. I didn't really have much positivity in them, so I took the Bills. And I told you this, like, playoffs is all about quarterbacks. That's the quarterback's time to shine. That's why I brought up Caleb. Josh Allen's always had to battle either Lamar Jackson or Mahomes. He don't have either this year. So if he ever had an opportunity, this is his opportunity this year.
Yeah, well, he won't be getting it. Niners Eagles Sunday afternoon.
I got the Eagles. Besides our game, I think that's the second toughest game to pick.
Yeah, I got the Eagles too, man. Yep. About Sunday night, Chargers, Patriots in Foxborough.
We differ on here. Me and your brother got into it. Not into it. I mean, it was not disrespectful at all, but we disagreed. I got the Chargers.
Kept seeing the notification. I'm like, man, these fools still arguing.
I was only defending Herbert. I'm not even a Herbert fan like that, but I think Herbert, he gets a lot of flack from a lot of people. I mean, he gets so you're either there's no middle ground with Herbert. Either you're like, okay, yeah, he's legit, or he's just not. And me and him are going back. He thinks that he's not. And I'm more in support of him or whatever. So, but I'm not, for some reason, I'm not sold on the Patriots, man. They had a great season, so I have no reason. This is just a hunch on my end, but I know you disagree.
I'm sold enough on them to get this first win at home. Herbert got to exercise them playoff demons for me before I believe, man. And
that's something we talked about. He only had one bad game. He's had two games.
Went up what did it go up, like 28-0 and lost that game against Jacksonville a few playoffs ago?
He put up a 30-piece.
Did you finish the game?
No. I mean,
you play to win the game.
He didn't have a bad game, is what I was saying. I mean, it wasn't. Now, this last game he had was horrible. He had 4 picks. It was a horrible game. He definitely has to. I agree. So I agree.
Yeah, that game down in Houston, right?
Yeah, last year it was really bad. So I agree with that 1,000%. Or 2 years ago. I'm sorry, that wasn't last year, or was it last year?
No, I believe that was 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm not saying he's a perfect quarterback by any means. Don't let me go on record saying that Herbert is the GOAT. I'm just saying he's to me, he's in that 7-8 realm of top 10 quarterbacks in the league. He's right around there to me.
Finish it off Monday night with Texans Steelers.
I got the Texans.
Same. I think that defense is going to be a little bit too much for old man Rodgers, man. So I can see them getting after him early and often, and them playing catch up, big time going into the second half.
So I have a theory, and it's probably not worth much. I even told you in text yesterday. I was like, I told you I thought I was going to win it. I was like, I'm probably wrong, but whatever. But can you name the last time a defensive-oriented head coach won the Super Bowl?
Was it when?
It's been a long time.
Who was the head coach when Peyton won in Denver? Was it Fox?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know if it even goes back that far though, because I think the Ravens have won it since then, right?
2015.
No, they won it before that.
Yeah, they won it before that. So yeah.
So I made a lot of my picks based off that. Defensive-minded coaches. So Vrabel's a great coach. D'Amico Ryan's a good coach, but just the defensive-minded coach, man. I'm a little. Yeah, you have to have a good defense to win, but these days, man, you gotta be an offensive mastermind.
Defensive-minded head coach. How you feeling about the two teams that are on bye then? Two really good defenses, Seattle, Denver. Both of their, that's their calling card. Obviously, Sean Payton is a offensive coach, but Mike McDonald is a defensive-minded head coach. So would you give the edge to maybe Denver going farther than Seattle in your mind because of Sean Payton and the offensive prowess?
I have Seattle losing their. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think who. So Seattle, based on my pick, Seattle would end up going against the Rams, right? If I have the Bears, the Eagles, and Rams winning, it gets reseeded, so they would have the Rams. Yeah, I have the Rams beating Seattle.
Ooh, that'd be tough going to Seattle again. But
So I mean, I'll just say I got the Rams and the Bills in the Super Bowl with the Bills winning it this year. But contradictory. I don't know. I guess so. Would you consider Harbaugh a defensive coach? I mean, I guess he was a quarterback, but I'm not. He's never been called an offensive genius.
yeah,
He's just a coach.
yeah, because even
Like
when
a Pete Carroll.
even when he had his success with Cap in San Francisco, that was mostly, orchestrated by Greg Roman,
Yeah,
the OC. So I would call him an overseer,
Like
a culture builder,
like a Tomlin.
Yeah, I
something
guess
like
you
that.
would put him kind of in that
Like his
realm.
brother too. So I guess they're all. But yeah, that's just where my picks are at. I'm not saying that a defensive coach is not going to win. I'm sure they can, and I'll probably be wrong as hell, and I'm on wax now saying it. I'm just saying, that's how I made my picks.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I said it before. The only thing that scares me about Seattle is Sam Darnold. Just waiting for the bells to toll and him turn back into a pumpkin. And
When in doubt, coattail the team that's got the best quarterback. That's my theory. But yeah, so it should be. I'm excited this year. I mean, this is that's what I was talking about. It'll segue into it, but I'm much more excited about the NFL playoffs this year than I have been for college football. Now, we can transition to it because I know you might not feel the same way because, as you can see, my man is ready to go to South Beach right now, ASAPual.
Man, I'm in South Beach right now. I'm in South Beach in my head. I'm getting ready to board a plane tomorrow to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl. That's where my mind is right now.
I told you I was going to be livid. I mean, so
you see, the thing about this is you were just as happy with the outcome of that game as I was, because nothing makes you happier than to see, Ohio State get stomped out to it. He's probably over there evil grinning and chuckling the whole game.
But also, if you haven't, I love being right. I'm sorry. I love being right, man. So we're on, again, it's on wax. I said on here,
bully them.
If you bully them in the trenches, they will buckle. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't watch the full game, but I watched it. And I was like, man, they are dominating on both sides of the ball in the trenches. That was it. There was
another
nothing.
Another game with, I think, 6 or 7 sacks.
Did not even look like a Heisman caliber quarterback. It was
pocket was collapsing from start to finish, and they started the second half the way I kind of thought they would. I was at work and I was talking to one of my buddies who's unfortunately an Ohio State fan, so we were there, chopping it up back and forth. And when they went into halftime 14-0, I told him, I was like, hey man, I know y'all gonna come out and y'all gonna put your best foot forward. So Miami gotta hold the line in that regard. But other than that little fight that they tried to put up in the third quarter, man, it was a Michael Irvin BTA, for sure. Down there, belt off.
Loved it. Loved the memes, man. The memes were so great.
Belt off, getting to it. And man, nothing probably could have made me happier with that outcome, man. Maybe a wider margin, but I'll take 24-14 because the 10-point game didn't even feel that close.
It was dominant.
It didn't feel that close, man.
It was never a moment where I didn't watch the game, but I mean, even just seeing it, there was really never a moment where it seemed like Ohio State were just they were just out of it, man. Like I said, and that's what I was saying.
I think they were shell shocked, and they kind of folded after he threw that pick, after saying threw that pick six, and Miami went up 14-0. You could kind of see how dejected their sideline was, and they were not expecting that at all, And sometimes when you get into a game like that, and everybody told you, or you telling yourself that you still the big brother, you supposed to do this, and then quote unquote, little brother steals on you, punches you in the mouth, and you like, oh, this a little different now.
A little different.
It's a little different now. So, but yeah, it didn't feel as close as a 10-point margin. Like you said, it was dominant.
I really am, man. Like I said, I've never disliked Miami. I've never had an issue with Miami. I'm by no means a fan. I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna jump on anybody's bandwagon. But I mean, my favorite teams in college football are Michigan and whoever plays Ohio State. Those are my two favorite teams. So shout out to y'all. I really am happy for you as a fan because, like I was saying, just 2 years ago, just being able to experience, because you don't get these too often, especially with the new layout of college football. I mean, we may not see repeat champions for long. I mean, those days are probably over with now.
You led me right into my next point before we pick these two games and get up out of here. But the NIL and the portal kind of doing exactly what a lot of people hoped it would, as far as parity and spreading talent out. Yes, there's still some changes that need to be made, some guardrails that need to be put up. But as far as even in the playing field, what better evidence than this year do you need than SEC getting dog walked in almost all the bowl games? Like, I think they won last time. It might have changed, but at one point, the SEC was 1-7 against the ACC.
Only reason why they went up because they played each other and they had to win. Mm-hmm. Someone had to win.
Yeah. So yeah, man. And I think what you're seeing right now is a lot of the reason why I called people like Jim Boeheim and Nick Saban, cowardly for the way that they, bowed out and tried to use this as the reason why they didn't want to coach no more. Like, no, you just mad that, you don't have a stronghold on those under the table deals no more. It's all out there. Michigan State can go and get the same, kids that you can. Yeah, you're going to run out of money at some point, and some of them kids that, are going to weigh an offer, yeah, they might say, hey, I'll go get, this $5 million bag from Michigan State and play, as opposed to sitting behind, somebody at Bama for 2 or 3 years. Like, there it is, man.
And that's what they were known for. Like, I would always, and it just blew my mind every year because I pay attention to the recruiting in the offseason a lot, and I'm sure you do too. I would see, like, when they had Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, just a phenomenally stacked running back room every year. Derrick Henry, and they would sign the number 1 running back in the country. Like, why? You're not going to play until your senior season because you're not going to play over there.
The receivers.
Yeah. Remember that one
Waddle,
graphic we saw?
Devontae Smith.
Yep. Julio.
No. I'm saying on the same team.
Oh, on the same team.
They had Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith. Oh, man, it's somebody else is, escaping me right now. But, they had, you talking about 3 or 4 first-round picks in one position group on the team at the same time. Like, that's crazy, man.
And now they're testing the portal. Like, so I'm only bringing it up. I know people probably tired of me talking about Michigan, but so Michigan had a groomed quarterback coming in. He was going to be the starter this year until Bryce came, Jaden Davis. And I was surprised he stayed, but he's going to hit the portal. He's going to be great for somebody next year. They purposely kept him out his freshman year. They're like, man, we need him for another season. He didn't play this year either. So I don't even know the way the weird red shirts go or whatever. He may still have 4 years eligibility. So I'm just using that as an example because I know, firsthand being a Michigan fan, but you're going to get that now. Instead of these players sitting behind for 2 or 3 years because they made a bad decision and all of a sudden they got to recruit like a Manning or a Underwood, someone coming in that there's no way they're going to start anyways. They're going and they're finding a school and they're eating too.
I think the obvious kind of a couple of the obvious fixes would be, put in, if you're gonna sign, a deal with a school, an NIL deal, I think there needs to be, like a minimum, like a 2-year minimum. I think 3 sounds too much. 2 might be, the right number, the right length. Other than, a coach moving on and taking another job, then I think that frees up your ability, to hit the portal because you were brought there by that coach and now he's leaving. So I think it's only right that you should be able to explore other opportunities as well. But that for sure. And so that way you don't have guys, just yearly, bag hopping, one team to another, every single year. But I'm glad to see, the playing field starting to even out, man. And because in what world 10 years ago does Indiana make the Final Four teams and have a chance to play for a national championship
Bottom of the Big Ten.
in football?
Bottom
you know
of the
what I'm
Big
saying?
Ten every
Like,
year.
this dude Signetti is taking a basketball school and is turning them into a football powerhouse. Like, it's crazy.
I'm taking it back a little bit, because I went on a tough rant a couple weeks ago, but I'm able to enjoy the games without my team being in it, just being able to watch them. I still have my reservations, but regardless, I'm excited for the Final Four. I think I called it a couple weeks. I can't remember, but I think between Oregon and Indiana, I got Indiana, and then between UAll and Ole Miss, I have UAll. So I think I even said a couple weeks ago, I think it was going to be UAll and Indiana in the national championship.
We in lockstep. Same picks as me, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, Indiana just playing a different level. It's so much of a culture shock, bro, to see, a team that went into this year, this football season in 2025 as the losingest program in college football history. And now you're talking about a team that's, they got a coach that's got them doing a complete 180, and, they're going to show up and they're going to play Oregon for a chance to go to the ship, man. And I got them handling their business, man. They're on fire right now.
And do we even need to ask about the other game?
Nah.
Can I be honest? I mean, I hope I'm not. Tell me to shut up if you don't even want me to say it, but I could be jinxing you all. You not want me to say it, or do you?
Nah, man. Ain't nothing,
to
nothing
me,
you say going to affect my boys.
I think that this is going to be our easiest game of the playoff.
Hey.
I think this is going to be the easiest opponent you played this year. I mean, in the playoffs so far. So
it's another, probably have to use some sort of the same defensive playbook that you used against Texas A&M. Another team with a mobile quarterback that likes to get out and run. Contain him, keep him in the pocket, rattle him a little bit, get another 6, 7, 8 sacks, and go into the ship, baby.
I feel it for you. I'm happy for you, man. Like, hey, if by all means, man, if my team ain't in it, you might as well eat, right?
Oh, for sure. It's been some down times, man. You got to go back almost 20 years since the last time, we've been knocking on the door like this. And, as somebody who's, a Midwest Canes fan, that's also a White Sox fan and a Bulls fan and a Bears fan, like, it ain't been a lot to write home about, but still wear them proudly even through all the L's, man. So, the hard the hard times pay off at some point, I guess.
So that's what I want to, before we head out, man, I want to touch on that because I hear that a lot, like especially your avid fair weather fans, people that just like cheering for teams that win all the time, right? There's no payoff, if, to me, this is just me, if you're not impacted at least a little bit emotionally by your team, whether they win or lose, you're not really a fan of that team. You like them. It's cool. You just like them, but you're not a fan. So just being with your team through the struggle, that's the thing about ups and downs. I mean, that goes for anything. I mean, relationships, anything. When you go through the valleys and after all the drama, you ride it out and now you get to the mountaintop, it just feels that much better because you done went on that journey. So that's what a true diehard fan, and that's the benefit of just being a diehard fan of whatever team you're a fan of. And also, I'm glad you spoke on that too, because I argue with people about that a lot. Talking about you're a Midwest fan, that's a Miami fan. I'm a Midwest Miami fan. People always ask me, they're like, "How come you're not a U of I fan?" U of I is a road trip away. That's not near here. I mean, I get it. We're in the same state. Northwestern is closer than U of I, but we don't really have. There's no university. I mean, we have a University of Chicago, but they don't have a football team. Like, if there was a Chicago University, I would probably be a fan of that, but that's kind of what I like about being in the Chicagoland area. We're kind of free to There's more Notre Dame fans in Chicago than there are.
Yeah, I
anything
touched
else.
on that with the boys on the Fourth and Inches pod when I was on there with them, and they were asking me kind of the backstory of how I became a Miami fan, and we got to talking about the landscape of college football in the Chicagoland area. I would say Chicago probably has more Notre Dame fans than anything.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
it's overwhelming because, like you said, U of I is more of like the Southern Illinois residents. Chicago's a Big Ten team. Like they try to market themselves, like you said, as Northwestern. So yeah, you've got the freedom to kind of choose and do your own thing. So I would say that there's easily more more Notre Dame and Michigan fans around here than anything else that Illinois has to offer.
I don't even see really a lot of Michigan fans around here, though. You see a lot of Michigan fans?
I see a lot. Just me personally, I know a lot of Michigan fans.
Okay. So. Good people. You know a lot of good people.
If you say so, man. Y'all ain't proved me wrong yet, but maybe you will one day.
But that's just something I wanted to get off my chest, man. It's one of the cool things I like about college is I get to pick what team I want. I mean, I can still pick if I don't want to be a Bears fan, I don't have to be a Bears fan. It's just the hometown loyalty, man. You got me.
But big week for us. It's the first time since we launched the pod a little over a year ago that we had anything to kind of cheer for. Playoff season for college or NFL. So looking forward to the next, next 3 or 4 days. It's gonna be a sight to behold, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's if you look at last season, man, just seeing the optimism and the happiness on our faces this season as well. I mean, we were happy last year, but just not in the way we needed to be as fans. So.
Yeah, man. Y'all see me crashing out on Facebook, man. Mind your business, man. Just either take the emotional roller coaster with me, or stand off to the side and shut up.
We ain't gonna worry about it, man. I'm not gonna say I'm not worried about the Packers, but I think we got that in the bag. We got it in the bag.
And 42-10 Bears. Let's just go ahead and dispatch of them like that, and then we could just come in next week and we could just put our feet up. We don't even need to recap the game. We could just look forward to the next opponent. We could just kind of, shoo them away like they ain't even worth talking about. 42-10.
I would love it. I would love it, man. I would love it. I'll go 56-7. Just to double down and be extra.
Hey, man, we're going to need some cheese grater hats, man. Somebody hit us up, man, because we definitely have to sit here with those on next week if that happens, bro. Right, so I might bring an actual cheese grater and just sit it right here.
For sure. And come this time next week, by the time we drop the next episode, all the Packers fans be wallowing their tears. We're going to be living it up. On to the next round, worrying about who's coming to Soldier Field again, right? And then whoever plays Seattle is going to upset Seattle, and then we're going to move on, and they're going to come through to Chicago again.
And we'll be playing in the NFC Championship game.
There we go. At home. At home.
What a time.
Yeah. So that's our show for today. Man, just bear down. And I know you want to say some stuff. Yep, I already knew. All right, y'all. That's our episode for today. We'll catch you next time. Roommate 108.